Welcome everyone to another episode. And as always, I'm very happy to be here with you. And today I have Tina Reimer here with me. We could talk in German, but of course we won't. We did it a little bit before we hopped on, and we connected through your husband, Bruno.
Yes.
Was also on my podcast, and he was like, "You have to have a conversation with Tina because as I talk a lot about slowing down." So he was like, "Tina is the queen of slowing down." That's how we connected. And welcome. I'm so happy to have you, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the invitation through Bruno. Yeah. So I'm right now in a situation between something and the other, not yet knowing what's ahead, yet never before. I think never before in a combination of deeply relaxed, super excited, and deeply faithful. I would describe my situation like this. So I am self-employed since 10 years. Before I did 16 years of event management and marketing and artist booking and artist management. So I was supporting others in something. And 10 years ago, I decided to be self-employed. And then I started with a classical, not classical, but the life coaching came later. I started with freelancing and Chinese medicine consulting because I started due to my own health, Chinese medicine and the nutrition part and the organs and the emotions. So I was super fascinated by this. And at some point I was seeing like, okay, everyone gives me the label of health. So she's this health consultant. And I thought like, I never wanted to be this. And so then I switched to the, let's say more, generic life coaching for many, many years. And then it was more about, heart-led, soul-led paths. And then I had masterminds and one-on-one coaches and stuff. And so I adapted all 2 years my coaching business. And last year, to make it shorter, because yes, if you have questions to this, you will ask me. And last year I came to a point where life meant I have to learn in all areas of life through lots of pain. And this brought me actually after 10 years of this coaching business and being self-employed and being on social media. Then in November, my social media account got hacked. So I have a small one, but this is not really active, but the big one for 10 years, and this got hacked. So even the letting go of my Instagram account, the social media, and no longer caring was then after all the year of cleaning, letting go, leaving behind, closing doors, tuning in the question of what if you lose everything and everyone? This was in summer last year. And this helped me actually to be really, really grounded and building over the last 4 years. Now I'm jumping a bit. 4 years ago, I separated from my husband. We were together over 20 years. So in these 4 years, I was traveling a lot because I'm a traveling bird. And I connected with my own artists and I started to create my own show and launching songs. You will find them on Spotify. So this whole artist path started. And then I was also coaching more artists. But then last year, but these all painful experiences and letting go and leaving behind, coming to this question of what if you lose everything and everyone, and having built now a deep, most beautiful relationship with myself, brought me then this year to many rewards and many magical, blissful moments, what I would have never expected last year. So maybe this is the short wrap up. Yeah.
I love it. So basically, what we're going to talk about today, guys, is the magic of going with the flow of life, basically, right? Where we're not trying to force the mind's agenda, where we're like, no, but I have to have a coaching business, I have to do these things, or we're gonna fight that the social media account got hacked and we get all reactive. Because maybe what if it happened for you? You know, I think always in hindsight, we can see those things. And when we can just surrender into what life is putting right in front of us and actually slowing down. And I think the big word we talked about before we started recording today is the void. You know, sometimes we feel lost. We're in the darkness. We're like, I don't even know where I'm going to go. I have not even a plan. And in today's still very left brain driven society, it's always like, what's your plan? what's the plan for the next 2 months? And what's the plan? And what's the plan? And like, stop. I don't have a plan. I'm surrendering to what the plan is for me and allowing that to happen, right? Is that kind of what's going on?
100 effing percent, because we're in a podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, 100%, Annalena. 100%. Because when I think back when I was still in my masculine and in the beginning of my self-employment and in the beginning of spiritual development and personal development and all of this, you had a vision and a plan and you were super motivated and lots of ambition. And at least in my traditional, I don't know the word, human design, I'm having a defined will center. I don't know if I have this in the other one as well. So there was this lots of ambition and driven personality, and I'm having this goal and vision, and I will make a huge company and more money and blah blah blah, blah. This was the whole beginning, the 5-6 years at least, until I came in touch with the law of attraction and more feminine way of being and receiving and opening up. And I was 4 years ago in a mentorship with a mentor who works also on a physical level and towards trauma and stress in the body and pulling all these things out. I came in touch with human design. And so experiencing for the first time all my emotions and being in the feminine and receiving. So all these beautiful feminine sensual receiving qualities came into my life, and I became this way more sensual feminine being and integrated all this and healed the wounds and stuff. So then you're coming to a point of seeing, and actually you said it, back to your words, I shared with another peer in the coaching world some month ago, and she knows me since 2 years, and we haven't heard in a while. And then I said, what huge, deep transformation happened to me in the last 12 months towards or regarding there was so much pain and so much painful experiences. I said, right, like now I'm living without any attachment to anything. I have no more plans. I have no more goals. I'm simply, yes, of course, I'm having my dreams in the old human design. I'm having the incarnation cross of wishes. So I always talk about dreams and desires and vision, like your wishes and how fulfilled you are. This is the most important for me. Yet I'm deeply convinced. So A, what you also said, the movie is already written. So there is already something what is written. We have zero effing control. I deeply believe in this. Yes, I can decide if I go right or left, or tomorrow or in 2 days. But in general, the movie is written.
Mm.
And the other thing is also letting life guide you. And you have your inner compass of your values, your standards, your desires, your dreams without any attachment, because you know if they are for you, if it is supposed to happen, it will. Not in your timing and not in your control. It will. So surrender to the moment, surrender to what is, and you are able to receive so much more than you could have ever imagined. Yeah.
Yeah, we should all have talked to Eckhart Tolle in school, right? He already got it.
Totally.
Well, and he's German too. I think he was actually born in Cologne, which that's my hometown when I went to college. So I still have this like secret dream to have him on my podcast one day.
And I never read his book, but in the end, it's true. And I mean, I talk with Bruno, and yeah, in the spiritual world, you can talk about so many platitudes and words, and the word self-love and being in the now and surrender. And like these words are obviously also overused.
Mm.
In my experiences, if you embody them, if you really live them, then you understand them. Before you understand the concept,
Yeah.
many people are talking about it. Yeah. But are you actually
Mm.
embodying and living it? Then you don't need to longer talk about it, because you
Yeah.
simply live
This
it. Yeah.
is, yeah, I love it. And also I want to, there's a couple of several things I want to touch upon or go deeper, because what you just said, I mean, this is where you are at right now. We cannot force us into a state like this, right? You weren't there 5 years ago. You
No.
had to go through exactly more of the masculine way of doing things, right? And as we know also from human design and gene keys, I'm picking gate 15 right now. It's about the extremes. That's having compassion for that. That's how life goes, right? It's a polarity of life and really going with that. And this concept of surrender and letting go, that takes a damn while, and I don't know if I'm there fully. In certain areas, I think I have come a long way. But to really let go, like you say, it's a mental concept in the beginning. And it may take us years to energetically embody that. And like you say, then we don't even have to talk about it anymore. Like I also had a similar experience with human design. In the beginning, we are like, oh my God, and this and everything. And once you start to live it and just trust yourself more, which for me is really the one big message of human design, to simplify it for all of us, I don't need to talk about my child all the time anymore. It's like we are actually here to transcend it in some way. And because the wisdom, as we also learn from all these modalities, is listen to your heart, listen to your body, listen to what's within yourself, right? So that's the first thing. And thank you for sharing this, because this is so real. This is so authentic. This is like a snippet from how life is in reality, and how it can take these turns. And especially when we go through lots of challenges, when we can just be with that and not fight it and allow it, we literally open the door for so much new, fresh energy and magic to come in, right? So, I mean, like in your case, you manifested a new relationship and a new life in many ways, right?
Totally. You mean the now?
Yeah.
You mean, yeah, what it brought? Yeah, totally. Um, you said one thing before. Yeah, I forgot it. Maybe it comes get back. Yeah, it brought me in the end. This simply of being and no longer planning or be. I think life, yeah, in a way, life has to force you there. No, I think we just talked yesterday with a friend about it. So in the beginning of everyone's, let's say, personal development journey, we mostly wait until it's effing painful, no? Like mostly. And I said, since years I'm saying like, yeah, but this is not, just in the beginning, because afterwards you start seeing this is like training a muscle. Like you're not waiting until it's painful. You're not waiting until, oh my God, no. It's simply like, oh, this is misaligned, so I have to realign it. Or there's no more, I'm waiting for this is too painful now. So yeah, this is one thing. And then the other thing of life has in a way to force you to maybe kind of transformational processes or journeys, because you wouldn't choose two heartbreaks. You wouldn't choose bankruptcy. You wouldn't choose going through whatever it is, or your family goes ill or sick. Or you wouldn't choose it by free will, but it has to be given to you so that you surrender to what is. And being. And you said one other thing, because I'm saying this also in the last years. One of my songs is All the Tears I Never Cried, because I've learned to open myself up to be naked, literally and metaphorically, like showing yourself vulnerable and all the emotions, going through all the emotions, showing them, allowing yourself to. And I think we have this perception or concept of there are bad and good emotions, and this is good to experience and this is bad to experience. But as you just said, no, we need all the wide range of experiences, and there's no judgment if this is good or bad.
Yeah.
It is simply an experience what I'm now having. Have I bad days? Yes, of course. I'm crying and there's emotions, and for others, maybe more anger or more grief or sadness or frustration or desperation. Yes, these are all emotions of life, and they are part of the game. Because when you allow them to be in your life as simply witnessing them and seeing them as a guidance towards something, you can experience all the bliss and the delight and the pleasure on the other side. So you're opening, what you said, you're opening up to the whole range, no? And through these deeper, painful moments last year, in this whole thing of, okay, I'm simply surrendering to me and nothing. Yeah, it brought me a new partnership. It brought me a baby in my belly. It brought me that we are going to the country where I feel home. It brought me to that I'm experiencing right now live as every day. I don't like the word magical because this is for me also overused. Yet it's like if you start seeing all the little things in life, what is every day given to you to be grateful for, happy for, fulfilled, delighted, whatever this is, then you don't need plans or visions and goals. And of course, I have lots of desires and wishes in my life. Being grateful and happy in every moment and fulfilled without being attached to the things what you also want. No,
Yeah.
it's this fine line and balance between, of course I want more,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm totally fine in the jungle, right? It's like this
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like with the relationships, it's like I love to be with you, but I don't need you, right? There's not this attached kind of energy. And I love this. Yeah. And for me, it's always like I like to say it's, you know, when I really, it's not like we don't have goals anymore, but they come from here, they come from the heart. It's like these big urges that our soul put there in some way, our life, God, source, universe, however you want to call this.
Yeah.
But it's not the goals that come from the mind where I'm sitting down and like, okay, to get X outcome, I need to do this. And it's all like fabricated, right? And this is also why I love human design, because the things that we need and sometimes also some strategies that comes to responding for life. But I find always it comes to me when I'm not even looking for it.
Yeah.
Like even you and I, the conversation we had, like it just was magically
Yeah.
orchestrated for us, even like how Bruno and I connected on Instagram, like it was just going with the flow of life. And and that's a beautiful thing with my podcast. I always tell my students to like, I don't have much of a plan. Like I really don't strategically reach out to people.
Yeah.
I do it from my heart space when intuitively something is coming or somebody connects with me and through a comment on a post. And it's just through generally being connected with humans in the moment, but without this like, agenda behind. Yeah.
In the, let's say, almost forcing, chasing, controlling thing. I was falling in love with Costa Rica 12 years ago. I was with my ex-husband and a friend, and I felt home. My soul felt home. I had to cry in the jungle, and I knew I'm home here. So
Mhm.
since 12 years, I'm talking about it,
Yeah.
but not forced. I'm simply talking about it. So I'm sending this message out, but not like, okay, let it come to me. No, I just talk about it because it's in me. And then 3 years ago, when after the separation, I was 3 months again in Costa Rica alone. And I felt like this. So, and then this year, this relationship comes to me, and then I'm getting pregnant, and I'm all the time sharing about Costa Rica because I love traveling in this country. And so then, yeah, and then Bruno says like, hey, I think at some point we will end up there. So then being pregnant, what also was not planned. And I'm no longer 20. So if we talk about this, for example, and I was more than 20 years in a relationship with someone and we talked about kids, but it was not the time or not the whatever it
Mhm.
was, but obviously, right? And then it's like, it amplified this thing of, okay, where do we not want to raise the child and giving birth to a child? So there are coming things to your life then when it's the quote unquote right timing,
Yeah.
when you let go and when you're not forcing it or chasing it, and when nature, life, universe wants it. No?
I love this. I love this. Yes. So one other thing I want to go a little bit deeper into because I can imagine people have questions about it. So
Yeah,
you were touching upon we have a written path. So this is
yeah,
kind of this concept about, okay, so my path is already laid out. I'm helpless. We can see it in a disempowered way, right? And
yeah.
I have recently, so I want to share with you my perception of it, and then I would also love to hear yours. And mine has been heavily, so I mean, influenced, I feel like in a very empowering way through one gene key in particular, and also Kabbalah. I don't know if you're familiar with Kabbalah. Kabbalah is part of human design at the end of the day. It's probably the oldest ancient wisdom we have. So in the 35th gene key, Richard Rudd talks about, like, yeah, you have your path, you have your destiny, but in every single moment in the now, you get to choose, do I react from the shadow state? Or do I intentionally take a pause? Because the gene keys out of contemplation, as you know, is all about taking a pause and like, oh, okay, here's my shadow. And I can choose to love my shadow, accept my shadow, or reject it, try to run away from it, right? And through responding as our highest self, more from the gift frequency or eventually the city, that's in every single moment. Like okay, am I going here or am I going here? And over time, it's a very different trajectory. Like maybe our path is in this big box, let's say, but we can end up here or we can end up here, basically, depending on where we're going. So that was the first time where I was like, yeah, because I also was always like wondering, like, do I have no influence whatsoever on this? And then it's like, yeah, well, screw it, whatever, right? But then it was like, wow, yeah, I'm actually the creator of my own life, definitely. There is a big overall path there for me, but I get to choose in every moment how to go. And recently, I want to say the last 4 or 5 months, I have been, my body, my human design authority has pulled me to Kabbalah.
Mm-hmm.
And very interesting, right? Because it was first Kabbalah, then it was Gene Keys. Now no, it was first human design, then Gene Keys, then Kabbalah. And of course, they're all interconnected. And in Kabbalah, we also have this principle of like, take a pause. So anytime we get triggered, anytime something like what you were describing last year, there's the chaos coming and things are not going well. And you're just, okay. And in Kabbalah, it's like, take a pause and then literally say to yourself out loud or internally, what a pleasure. And we may fake it, obviously, because like, it's not a pleasure to be triggered like this, or that things are just not going my way as per my mind. And then we can choose in every single moment. Again, just like in the Gene Keys, it's basically the same there. It's called this reactive behavior in Kabbalah. Do I react from my ego self? Yeah, I'm trying to fight it, or I'm gonna get angry at the person, or whatever, right? Or do I decide not to show up because I have a fear of rejection? That's always more the shadow self, right? Or as I take a pause, like, how would my highest self respond? You know? And the way he describes it is like, we can choose what movie we are in. We cannot change the movie and the actors, but I get to decide if I want to stay in this movie through staying reactive, or if I, through making loving, responsive decisions in the moment that may take a lot of strength, because instead of reacting to somebody making a nasty comment to us, for example, I'm choosing to pause, breathe it in, let it go, and respond with love. We can step into another movie where there could be the same people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like an elevated frequency. So in essence, it's like the same that I saw Richard Rudd talk about in this 35th Gene Key. And oh boy, I found that very, very empowering.
It is. Yeah, it is. And now, years ago, I wouldn't have seen it like this. And I wouldn't have said that the movie is written.
Mm.
So only after my own experiences of the last years, and of course, all the studying, and also with clients. So now I'm convinced about it. Yet, in no moment, I never found it disempowering. What you said, of course, people could say, like, huh? Yeah, no, 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 no. It's depending on how you go about life. How do you see and perceive the moments what are given to you? Because I think the more you, let's say, you worked on yourself and healed and embodied the higher frequency, or
Mm.
how much you are in peace with yourself, how much connected you are to yourself, like it's almost impossible to not see the good in every moment. And what I mean by good is, what is the gift here? What am I here to learn in this moment and experience? What does this show me?
Mm.
What is the thing what I'm now supposed to be directed to? Yeah, when it's the things what we don't understand or what we don't like or what is painful or whatever. When it's beautiful and even more beautiful, we had this conversation a month ago, Bruno and I. And we framed the question, how much beauty can you hold? Because you're also coming to a place when you are on this path that at some point you feel like, okay, this is much more than I asked for. So how much can I expand my holding of beauty? And then I said, like, for the first time in my life, it's not about how much pain can you hold and through how much pain can you go through and how much learnings can you like and embracing your shadows and all of it. It's in the end, after this for me comes the how am
Yeah.
I can expand to beauty, and this can be even more and even more. So I think it's, yeah, exactly what you said. It's written, but of course you choose the perspective, you choose the, yeah, where you go.
Which version of the movie, basically? So I really
Yeah,
feel like there's an overall theme, direction that your life path takes you, and but there are lots of different variations, and that's why every decision in the moment like can take you to a more challenging movie or to a less challenging, more beautiful, where you it's really like the capacity to hold beauty. And you're probably familiar also with the concept of the upper limit problem,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
By
yeah.
Hendrix. And because I remember when I first listened to him, it's like, yeah, we cannot feel good all the time. I was like, he's wrong or something like this. But I have to say, the longer that I am on this journey, so for example, just these last few weeks, it's obviously not a coincidence we're having this conversation right now. I found myself for the first time like, let me just sit there in gratitude. And I could feel it. This is something I think 6 years ago, I took these trainings and people were telling me, you need to sit there and be grateful. And I couldn't feel it for the life of it. I could not. There was still so much, I think, suppressed emotions in my body that just made it not accessible for me. And now it's just, there's this inner urge and desire, and it's almost, it comes more natural. And I'm really like, okay, let me practice this muscle of just sitting with what I'm grateful for. And I have to say, for my nervous system, it's still like, is this safe? You know? And that's what I think in the end is everything. What feels safe for us, we allow more because that's how we're wired as humans. If we have been used to always challenges and challenges and challenges and challenges, like that's familiar. So if there's no challenge, we feel like our life is in danger.
Yep.
So, and then you're going to be like, okay, how can I ever get out of it? Well, through these tools like the Gene Keys, through Kabbalah, where in every single moment you're aware, you shift, you either react or you respond. And reacting would also mean like, I'm going to distract myself watching TV right now instead of feeling my emotions. Or I'm responding with like, let me just have a good cry right now and just let me be with that, you know?
What you're saying, having tools, if these are these systems, or if it's emotional release stuff, or if it's something basic like journaling, if it's some affirmation thing, if it's going out in nature, is it's breath work, whatever it is, there are millions of tools and things. How do I move through emotions, what I have? How do I shift my inner state? How can I heal wounds? How can I go through these things that I am the creator and I want to choose how I respond or react? What brings us back to your concept of slowing down. Because when I'm not slowing down, then I can't be aware and contemplate and observe and witness my own path and decide how I react instead of reacting. Yet I think there are so many beautiful tools out there. There are so many amazing mentors and coaches out there, books, with content, what can help you work through these things. If you want to take back full responsibility for your life, like back what you said like some minutes ago, no? When I choose to no longer give anything on the outside, then there are tons of possibilities, tools, and systems who can help us to go in a higher frequency and go in a higher state and to feel good in gratitude, to feel good in fulfillment, to feel good in pleasure, to feel good in all these frequencies instead of mediocrity and no, it's okay and this is simply life. No, it isn't. But you are responsible for choosing it.
Yeah. And I mean, this also brings me to the topic of sexuality, sensuality, where I remember clearly for myself, like having an orgasm at some point in my life felt scary.
Okay.
And now at some point it's like to really surrender
You're
into
angry
that.
about
What is
it.
it?
I thought
Yeah.
like you felt scary, and now it's like I'm hungry about it. Yeah,
Yeah, and I enjoy it. I receive, it's a whole different energy with that because that's also about our capacity to feel bliss and joy and all these
totally.
things, right? Because we can contract with that and like push it away, or we can surrender into it and really allow it. So, and it goes in so many other areas of life, you know?
Totally,
It's the
totally.
same with money too.
Yeah, just wanted to say it's the same. In the end, it's opening up, feeling safe in vulnerable states, in receiving states, in open heart states, because obviously we all close the hearts, we all keep us safe, until we start the healing journey. And seeing how safe and even more free and more open I can feel in vulnerable, sensitive, sensual, open, receiving modes, even more. Like I never felt that connected with myself, that open and connected to the world, to everyone, feeling safe around, because I did the work in myself. So, of course, when you have this connection to yourself, you can open up and experience all this pleasure and bliss and beauty, receiving money and whatever it is to receive and let in when you feel safe in these open states. No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I love this. The other thing that comes to my mind, which you probably have experienced yourself as well, because I have also been on this coaching self-development journey. I think so. I left corporate was about 6 years, and I want to say 8 years ago, it's kind of when it started.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember I could only really transform when the container was safe, when the person I was working with, when I could go at my own pace. And
Mhm.
so much of the experiences I had, there was a limited time frame to get to a certain result, or it's like almost like you're forcing the process, right? That's where a lot of, I think, even more suppressed emotions come. I think everything has a purpose anyways, right? There was a reason why I had to experience, because I had to learn for myself, hey, this doesn't work for me, so I choose something else. This is really what works for me, you know? It's also with money. I first was in this mindset, I have to make a lot of money. I think you also talked about it. And then I attracted a lot of programs, people where money was at the forefront. That was the main energy. And it never worked for me. I was like, dumb. And I started to blame them, but it was me. It was something inside of me that was also attracting that. And when I consciously made the choice to not be energetically available to this anymore,
Yeah.
because I started to unfollow everything, and I was like, I'm going to unsubscribe. This is just, I'm not going to make it wrong, but this is not right for me,
Mhm.
you know, because I'm very getting into the wrong intentions here. And it's very funny as I did this now, because I think I set such a clear intention to the universe that I'm not just here for the money, but I'm also not here to just do it for free. Like I want to have like a holistic where it's about providing value and also feeling open and worthy to receive financial abundance for that. Now I'm starting to attract all these amazing people like you and many others, also mentors and coaches. And they talk about making money, but it comes from such a place of integrity and caring. And really, at the forefront is this concept of like, how can we change the world? How can we really help people? You know? And I realized, like, wow, like, I mean, they're having the same message that was here before, but the energy behind is so different. And then I realized, oh, I guess I changed. Because as
Mhm.
I change, my movie changes. It's so
Totally.
easy to project it onto other people. I think we do it all the time and I'm not even aware of it. And now I'm like, oh, I'm so powerful. Like I get to decide. And when I close my energy leaks, I first didn't want to do it because of people pleasing. How other people are going to think if I'm going to unfollow everybody, but I had to do it. This is also something that came from my heart. It was this inner urge. And for months, it kept coming. And I told friends about it. And then I realized, well, I told you about this 3 months ago and I still haven't done it. And then finally, I started to do it. And so much magic has been happening since then, just like how I perceive it and the type of humans and energies that I attract into my life.
Yeah, just quote unquote, it's a huge thing, but in the end, knowing it's a small step. just by letting go and cleaning and working through limiting beliefs and whatever we carry. And then we close this door and we change inside. And then this, back to slowing down, quantum leap, then this brings this quantum leap of
Yeah.
change outside because we changed. And why? Because we made space to listen inside instead of listening outside.
Yeah, because before I was in this space, like, oh, you have all the noise. This person is saying this and this and this. And I also know I am very sensitive to different people's opinions. It easily takes me away from my values and my essence. And is there something wrong with me? No, that's who I am. I need to acknowledge and honor that. And I have to learn. It's something in Kabbalah we call tikkun, like some things we come here in this world to work on, some of the baggage. And I know mine, one of them, probably there are many, is definitely to overcome people pleasing and really set healthy boundaries and really respect what feels right to me. And with that, also work through fear of rejection. So, but when I really do it, it's like, wow, it's really then magic and this quantum leap energy that comes from that, because I'm like taking a step back, slowing down. It's also like decluttering, same concept, no? The Marie Kondo thing, like you get rid of the things that are no longer resonating, that don't really light you up, that don't resonate with your energy, that don't put a smile on your face. You get rid of it. Oh, now the new furniture can come in. Now the new clothes can come in. So
100%. And when you say this thing of the fear of rejection, oh, this brings me back to this, what I said about this most beautiful relationship with ourselves. Because the more we know how whole and safe we are with ourselves, and I'm not saying that we are lonely wolves, we are all made for relationship and for community. Like, I'm not saying that we are lonely wolves and independent beings. Been there, done that. But it's more like when you are in a beautiful relationship with yourself, in the feminine masculine, like this internal marriage thing, and okay, when this person doesn't like you anymore, if this person goes away, if this person is triggered, if this person is pissed, if this person is, it's okay, because you're fine with yourself and it's okay. And when you see that people will come and go and some will stay longer and some will go earlier, and of course you have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 people where it would be painful, but also having lots of people where you think like, no, in the end it's okay, everyone has to choose and we are not responsible for the other's feelings and all of this, no?
Yes, yeah. Oh gosh, so much goodness. I think we delivered some big nuggets of wisdom for the listeners, for sure. Something
Amazing.
to contemplate on. So if people want to get in touch with you, I don't even know if you are in this space right now. Do you want to share?
So, I mean, if someone wants to reach out, I'm still having a website. It's tinareimer.com. We can probably put it in the show notes
Yeah.
so you will find my email there. So if someone wants to reach out, and there is a Instagram account. I'm not putting much out there, but it's still there, and you can contact me. It's The Beauty of Slowness. I think even there the link will be in the show notes. So it is a way to find me. Yes.
And then you used to have a podcast, right? Which is still, I think, on Spotify. From artist to artpreneur. I quickly
Exactly.
checked it out.
Yeah.
And then you have some songs. So I think the song is called Naked, right?
Get Naked is the first one came out, and the second is All the Tears I Never Cried. There are more to come, but they are not released. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah, music is such a balm for the soul. That's something I also have been so drawn to recently. It's just art, artists, and music. And I could never, I think years ago, I couldn't appreciate the beauty and the value of it. And now it's totally shifted. That has more value for me than what was valuable for me like 6, 7 years ago. It was all about the next self-development program and the next strategy and trying to figure things out. And
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a shift. So I really like the essence for me of this whole episode is like, yeah, it's for us to embrace the different phases of life. And you are in this more void phase right now. And I know you said the word magic is overused, but I think that is really magical. I love the word. I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And that's really how quantum leaps happen when we're not looking for it. We're not trying to force it. I'm so like, wanna like shake my head when I see people talk about, you have to focus and do it and make the quantum leap happen. And like, no, you just let it go and be open to receive. It will find you, but it's not something that happens with any kind of force whatsoever.
Zero. And I couldn't have made this up what happened in our last 6 months and how easily the flow was of, oh, there's this contact and oh, we can have this house there. And then there's this midwife living very close. And
Yeah.
I mean, we did now in 6 months something what other people doing in 10 years by going super slow without any plan. And this is exactly the combination of this slowing down and being in the now and then experiencing quantum leap. This is exactly what happened now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when everything we start to flow with the river of our life instead of trying to force ourselves in a different direction. And that's when life keeps it making harder so that we eventually shift into that effortlessness. I think that's what you're describing. This is also if you're familiar with the 40th gene key, talks really about this concept of effortlessness. When we're doing the thing that we're meant to be doing, it just flows out of us. And then the city is divine will.
Yeah.
I think that city really explains to me. I was like, okay, I'm really doing the thing that I'm supposed to according to the divine will. And that's when things really start to flow.
Totally.
So,
And this means also sometimes letting go of the things where you are most attached to. So
yeah.
I'm, for example, that last thing, in my essence, I'm a dancer. I'm a sensual dancer. I dance, like I started dancing with 14 in the dancing school in Germany, but then I also love dancing. And then with my ex-husband, I didn't dance, but I missed it all the time. So my soul was clearly speaking all the time without knowing it, but it was clear. And then I started over 10 years ago, I started dancing bachata. And then since 2 years, I started dancing zouk, Brazilian zouk. And it's way more sensual and less erotic, but it's more sensual. So it came obviously exactly with my own path and with my own evolution. So being aware this year, actually, yeah, that I tried to make something work. I mean, I'm super happy about the things what I achieved with dance. So last year, or no, 2 years ago, I had my first paid dance gig on a stage in Barcelona. And then last year, I was giving a speech in Barcelona and I integrated dance, and it was about sensuality and relationship and sexuality. So there were already some peak moments where the dance and the message in my job was combined, but still not yet as I see it and feel it. And so then this year on a dance festival again, I decided, no, this is not how this will work. I have to let it go. So I was even letting go the thing what I need is my deepest essence to the core. But it felt for the first time right to do it because now I'm having so much trust and faith in this guidance and in life that I know that it will come. I have no clue when and how and what.
Mm.
More like this. So we sometimes, and this was the process of last year, letting go of everything. But then this year, even coming to this last thing, what I know, this is so me. Okay, no, it's not supposed to be like you think it should. So
Yeah,
then let it
exactly.
go and it will find you. And this felt good. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, this is what it looks like, what human design has been trying to tell all of you, all of us. The mind is not here to make decisions. It's something that happens in the body. And that's really
It is.
what human design taught me, and I'm forever grateful for it. And that's really distilled down in the most simplicity, no matter what your human design chart looks like, it's what it is about. So, hmm. I love this. Awesome. So, Tina, what is one final nugget of wisdom? Maybe we already talked about it that you want to leave the listeners with. Something that was profoundly life-changing for you.
We definitely touched upon on all of these things, so I'm not saying anything new. But when I would choose one, it's like slowing down actually, truly, because you are not able to listen inside when you're not slowing down, and this what yeah is difficult for many. So slowing down, connecting with yourself, and letting go to surrender to what is, like embracing the moment and seeing the good and seeing the beauty in everything. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Such a simple concept, yet so hard for us humans. That's why we have to Say it over and over again, right? So thank you so much for sharing your story because I always find that I and we humans in general receive the biggest transformation when we can hear real life stories that are authentic, that are just, especially while you're in it,
Yeah,
like we can always say like, oh, I was here, now I'm here, everything is great. And but there's not actually like how did it feel while I was in it? So that's why I think it's so valuable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was so much fun. I'm happy we
thank
trusted
you.
how this all came about.
Thank
And
you. Yeah.
yeah, greetings to Germany
I
tonight.
will. Yes, the last 5 weeks or 4 weeks. Thank you. I will.
Enjoy, enjoy. And yeah, thank you, listeners, for slowing down with us and going into the magic of the void. And definitely an invitation for all of you to also see where you're trying to force yourself into things or you're pushing too much. And where do you know deep inside it's time for you to slow down, go more inwards, and so you can actually listen what's here in your heart space because there's a lot of goodness, there's a lot of magic. So
Totally.
thank you again, Tina. It was
Thank
such a
you,
joy.
Maria.
And again, everyone, thank you for listening. And I'm very excited to be with you all on the next episode. Bye, everyone.